What is up, y'all? Dylan back here. This will be a video on the Falcons. The Falcons played their first preseason game tonight against the Detroit Lions, and before I get into all that, I just want to say thoughts and prayers go up to the Detroit Lions player who got taken away in an ambulance. I saw the replay. It did not look good. Looked like he was going for a tackle on the Falcons running back, and it looked like his head hit the running back's knee, and his neck went back, and so he might. So it's some kind of neck injury or spinal cord injury. Whatever the case may be, you can tell he immediately went limp. And he was taken away in an ambulance. And because of that, the game was suspended. Look, neither team was in the right mindset to continue playing the game, and so I think it was the right decision to suspend the game. You just tell neither player wanted to finish the game after that, and I honestly do not blame them. And so, there was some good news by Lions head coach Dan Campbell. He said that the player is talking, he's breathing, and he's got some movement. So everything I've been reading is a good sign. So thoughts and prayers to that Detroit Lions player. Thoughts and prayers. So, with all that being said, I just wanted to get that out of the way. This is going to be a big year. This is a big year for the Falcons. Tremendous pressure is on Raheem Morris and Terry Fontenot. I do think both of them are on the hot seat this year. If the Falcons miss the playoffs again, I think Raheem Morris is gone, and I think Terry Fontenot is gone. We need a look. Now from what I saw from the preseason game, you cannot judge a team by how they do in preseason. But from the highlights I just watched, and from what little of the game I watched before it was suspended, I liked what I saw, even though it was just backups, no starters played, but I did like what I saw. Falcons defense was just flying around. The Falcons got 2 strip sacks today. So that's an encouraging sign. But yeah, I believe next week the Falcons play the Tennessee Titans. I might watch that. If I get that game here on TV, I might watch that. But yeah, look, the Falcons have got to take the next step this year. They have got to get back into the playoffs. If the Falcons are going to get into the playoffs and or win the NFC South, it starts week 1. When the Falcons play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers week 1. We need a big year from Michael Penix at quarterback. We need a big year from Bijan Robinson. Need a big year from Drake London. Kyle Pitts, and everyone else on this team. Look, so many times us Falcons fans has had hope for this team, only to get let down in the end. The Falcons have got to get back into the playoffs. And like I said, it starts week 1 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I expect the Falcons to get back into the playoffs. Look, obviously, the Falcons are not going to win every game. Alright? Let's be realistic. They're not going to win every game. There's going to be games where the Falcons are going to frustrate the absolute crap out of us Falcons fans. But I just want them to win enough ball games to get into the playoffs. That's all I want this team to do this year. I want them to at least get into the playoffs. Because I'm tired of these losing seasons. I'm tired of them missing the playoffs. I want to get back to when this team was consistent. Especially in the early years under Matt Ryan. We need to get back to that. So, but yeah, I expect this team to at least get back to the playoffs. If they miss the playoffs again, this season will be a complete and utter failure. And I think if that happens, Raheem Morris will be gone and Terry Fontenot will be gone. Because there is some legit hope and excitement from this fan base. But now it is time for this team to prove that. If this team is serious about winning and getting back to the playoffs, it is well past time for this team to prove it. Prove it. Because if this team has another letdown year, then I don't know. I don't know. But you're gonna get to the point where fans are just not gonna care anymore. But it's time for the Falcons to actually prove that they can get back to the playoffs. Because since the Falcons choked away the Super Bowl, it has been endless disappointment from this team. It has been endless disappointment. All I want this team to do is to at least get back to the playoffs. And if they get into the playoffs, then who knows what happens after that. But I want this team to at least get back into the playoffs. That is all I am asking. That is the least that I am asking for. I just want to watch the Falcons play in playoff games again. Because it gets more and more frustrating when I'm watching playoff games and the Falcons is not playing in any of them. And it gets more and more frustrating every year. So Falcons, if you're serious about winning and making it back to the playoffs, prove it. Prove it.